have several news crews fanned out covering a raging wildfire in central Washington and where it's going next.
This is what I would imagine hell would be like.
You're going to hear firsthand accounts from those who fled the flames and those who lost their homes in that raging wildfire.
KREM 2 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for being with us. I'm Roddy Shaw. At least 80 homes are lost, nearly 170,000 blackened acres now in the Carlton Complex fire in central Washington. The fire exploded overnight in nearly 9 times its original size. It roared over hillsides and down into the town of Pateros, causing heavy damage and destroying numerous homes. The concern now is switching to other towns nearby. The fire moving closer to Brewster and Malott to the east. And we've started an effort to send help to the people and communities affected by this terrible disaster. We'll talk about that later on in the newscast. First, we have dedicated all of our resources to bring you the residents of that region, tell you what's going on there, the information you need to know in this massive wildfire. First, we want to get you down to the front lines. I want to go to Jane McCarthy, who is field anchoring our live team coverage tonight from Pateros. Jane?
Well, good evening, Randy. It is frankly hard to breathe tonight in the town of Pateros. There is ash falling from the sky, and take a look behind me. It is heartbreaking to look around here. These just a few of many homes that burned in this fire overnight. That fire just came down this hill and took out pretty much this entire block and beyond. Also, the concern right now is we're feeling the wind pick up a little bit, and obviously that is the enemy of firefighters tonight. That was a problem last night, and they were hoping the wind would die down and help them out tonight. KREM 2's Sean Chitness is live tonight in the town of Malott. He is in front of this fire now, where neighbors are worried it will move toward their homes next.
Jane, tonight here in Malott, the barrier from the fire line has been moved farther east, but people in the entire town are being told to think like this is level 3, an evacuation level 3, where they are ready to go and can leave right now. But for some people, they were here in town today waiting to go back to their home because the fire had already gone through their neighborhood. Thursday night as the fire grew and spread across the region, many people were getting ready to go to bed, but the sounds of the fire kept them up.
We kept hearing this roaring noise, and we got out and looked on the deck, and there's a wall of flame, red flame, about 3/4 the way around our home.
Marilyn Schieffer and her husband had to drive through the fire to get to safety.
The fire was coming very fast. I mean, you didn't have time to do anything but get in your car and go.
Today she had the chance to return to her house and saw that it was still there.
The home was spared, thank the Lord, but some people's weren't.
She took pictures of the scene and couldn't believe what her camera captured.
It's like a gray, barren land. There's no green anywhere.
Here in Malott, there's no sign of the fire except for the smoke up in the air, but it's on the other side of that ridge, slowly approaching the town.
There's nothing but ash all over. You'd think it had been an eruption from a volcano or something.
The fire moved quickly Thursday night, destroying some of Schieffer's property and leaving other equipment untouched.
The Jeep is unharmed. The trailer was cindered.
But the scary scene she saw last night doesn't compare to what her neighbors are dealing with today.
People have lost their homes. They've lost everything. It's just very, very sad, very sad.
And Marilyn Schieffer wanted to stay here in Malott and wait to go back to her home, but now because the fire is moving closer to this town, she also needs to move farther away and stay away from her home for a little bit longer. Reporting live tonight, Sean Chitness, KREM 2 News.
The Carlton Complex fire started Monday by lightning. It initially started as 4 different fires. The Stokes Fire and Gold Hikes Fire broke out along Highway 153 south of Twisp. Those 2 fires have now merged into one. That is the one that spread south yesterday into the town of Pateros here. The other 2 fires, the French Creek Fire and Cougar Flat Fire, started in an area north of Twisp by Paragon Lake. Those 2 fires have also combined into one and moved south. I have to mention right now, as we've been out here today, this is probably the windiest we've seen it in a couple of hours. Not a good sign, again, for the firefight tonight. Now, as you can see, the homes behind me have burned. This is just a sampling of the many homes that have burned. Many families have moved about 20 miles away to the town of Chelan. I'm joined now by KREM 2's Jenica Villamore. You talked with some people who unfortunately lost their homes in all of this.
Yes, and it has been extremely heartbreaking just speaking with all of these families. And, you know, earlier, what's also great, though, is hearing just how great the community is really pulling together. I mean, I'm talking about dozens of people who stayed up all night passing out food and people who are donating and continue to donate.
We just had a customer here just now that, you know, lost their home. People literally watching their houses go up in flames.
Staff at the Apple Cup Cafe in Chelan say it's easy to tell which families have lost their homes in the fire. So many people came out to their restaurant this morning, they opened up early. Employees gave out free or discounted meals, and the manager, Ryan Peterson, gave out more than 100 sandwiches to families last night.
It's pretty amazing. You see the whole town, you know, everyone's contributing.
But he's just one of many others who are stepping up to help. He says last night at least 50 other community members were volunteering at the Red Cross shelter at Chelan High School.
Until about 3 o'clock yesterday morning, and, you know, there was still people bringing truckloads of you know, baby food, baby diapers, you name it.
Red Cross staff provided food and shelter to the more than 90 people who stayed there. On top of that, a youth church group sang outside to lift the mood.
We just want to love on them and see if we can help them and make them not so sad. It's kind of a disaster when they lose their homes.
Vidi Ramirez and her family are waiting out the fire. She still doesn't know whether her home is okay, but she says she's thankful to all the volunteers and all of you.
It's pretty awesome to have people help out because we need it right now.
I'm told the manager at the cafe is actually giving out free meals right now. It started at about 6 o'clock. So any family who needs help is welcome to go there at the shelter tonight. And just a few minutes ago, actually, a few ladies came up to me, and at the Brewster Recreation Community Center, they have a ton of supplies. I'm talking all kinds of toiletries. They have meals, and they also have a bunch of water they're just trying to get rid of. And I'm told they will be open all night.
Those people are the silver lining in all this. Jenica, thank you very much. We also want to talk about some highway closures tonight because of all this fire activity. Highway 97 is closed between Brewster and Pateros to Chelan. Also, portions of Highway 20 and Highway 153 have been closing intermittently. The evacuation orders on Pateros were lifted earlier today. People were away overnight and, of course, hoping for the best. Joining me now, KREM 2's Dana Haynes. You talked with some people who weren't not so lucky in all of this.
Yeah, you know, there were a lot of people who, as we can see behind us, the devastation is vast, that lost their homes. What was interesting in this day and age of our electronic devices, we've had the pictures rolling in through our social media channels. We had video that we got especially from the superintendent of schools. She walks us through what happened last night.
By daylight, homes are still burning and trees are still torching. But this is nothing like the initial burst of flames that roared into Pateros Thursday night.
It just rolled down that hill, and then it became its own weather system, and the funnel started spinning, and little tornadoes of flames, you know, just like you see the dust devils. It was flame just going.
This video was shot by a school janitor working to protect Pateros High School from the fire. By his side, Lois Davies, the superintendent.
It just set in as though it were evening, as though it were night. And then the hills started to come across. We started to see the flames. All the light got bright red all along the hill behind us. And then the hill started to be in flames too. And the fire came down the hill as though it were a waterfall. I've never been in a firestorm quite like that, and I've lived here 33 years and watched a lot of firestorms.
You know, watching that video, watching those still pictures, which, by the way, we need to thank one of our viewers, Marky Clary, who I met down in this town, and she shared a lot of still pictures with us. It's interesting, Jane, it's almost been 24 hours. The first picture she snapped last night was at 6:47 as they started to see just the glimmer of smoke and flames on top of the ridge that's just directly to our left. And then that hellacious devastation happened within minutes. So it's been a horrific 24 hours, and we are going to continue to watch the progress in this town as they try to recover.
Absolutely, Dana. Thank you very much. And as we mentioned, things happen so quickly in all of this. We want to talk about some more damage we're hearing about. Flames from this Carlton Complex fire destroyed the main lodge at the Silver Spur Resort early this morning. The owner tells us it burned to the ground. The lodge, though, he says, is fully insured. He plans on rebuilding. He also believes about 6 of the 35 homes in that resort were also lost to the flames. Also, as of about 4 o'clock this afternoon, 911 services are down in Winthrop and Twisp because of these fires. This is very important to note because you can't call 911. If you need the fire station or you need police, you need to dial that 1509 and direct number. 911 is not in service right now. Also, there are several Red Cross shelters set up because of so many people displaced. One of them is at the Cornerstone Christian Fellowship Church in Omak. That's for evacuated residents in Pateros, Brewster, and other areas. We keep adding to them. There are 3 other centers, including Chelan High School, the Grange in Twisp, and First Baptist Church in Leavenworth. Of course, it's not just people. Livestock are a concern as well. So the rodeo grounds in Chelan are set up for livestock right now. Now, members of the Pateros Community Church are calling it close to a miracle that their church was left unscathed by these flames. They came so close. KREM 2's Haley Gunther talked with them.
Well, members of the community church here continue to gather in this parking lot. They're incredibly grateful that their home away from home, their beloved church, was able to escape those flames with only a few singed branches. They tell me they believe it's nothing short of a miracle. 80-year-old Howard Osmussen watched the fire engulf the community he loves last night. He was sure his church would be reduced to ashes come morning. But when he arrived to see the church not only intact but free of any significant damage, he says he immediately believed it was no coincidence.
We sure got a guardian angel because you can see what happened on each side. It is a miracle.
Many members of this church community say this is like a glimmer of light on one of their darkest days. As for Howard, he spent the day driving around in his truck, helping every single person he could. Reporting here from the community church, Haley Gunther, KREM 2 News.
Back here live, this is both a beautiful and a terrible look at the aftermath of the fire. The sun just glowing bright orange here. Coming up later in the show, we're going to tell you how you can help the people who are affected. This is the time where we need to come together and help these people. Many of them are friends, many of them are strangers, but they certainly are in need, and that's what this central and eastern Washington community does best. Also, again, we're noticing these gusts of winds tonight. Unsettling, to say the least, given these conditions. We want to send it back to Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry to talk about the weather right now.
Well, Jane, right now you can see the winds are blowing towards the south and the southeast. Average wind speed's about 7 miles per hour, but you can even tell in your shot there that we're getting gusts at times that are higher. At least the temperatures are cooling down at 77 degrees, but that wind that is blowing towards the south and the southeast, that's the smoke that is all blowing into our area. We need a good dose of rain out there where the fires are, and also if we could get the wind to just stop blowing, that would certainly aid the firefighters as well. At least we're seeing the temperature come down, and we're going to see decreasing temperatures as we move into the weekend. Red flag warning is in effect through Saturday, Jane. We've got another big gust of winds headed our way. Tomorrow could see wind, or overnight and tomorrow could see winds gusting to 30 to 35 miles per hour. That is not going to help firefighters at all. And again, we have to be extremely careful elsewhere in that area shaded in red that we don't start more fires, because they will take right off. off. Air quality, as you would imagine, is not good. It is borderline poor and unhealthy right now, and it looks like we may actually even get into the unhealthy stage if we get more of that wind pushing the smoke into the area overnight and tomorrow. Temperatures shape up like this. At least this is the one bright light. Colder or cooler weather on the way. 83 tomorrow, 82 on Sunday. We'll continue with temperatures in the low 80s through the remainder of the work week. Might even get some showers or thunderstorms on Wednesday, and there's even a slight chance of maybe a few showers maybe where the fires are occurring tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. More on your forecast in a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. Obviously, for the affected families, this wildfire is just devastating. Many losing their homes and belongings, and that's why we're helping the Red Cross tonight raise money for the victims. For the next 45 minutes or so until 7 o'clock tonight, KREM 2 is hosting a Help to Washington fundraiser at all Rose Hours area stores. We'll be asking for monetary donations going toward the Red Cross relief efforts all over the state. KREM 2's Francis Wang joined us now live with more on how you can help.
That's right, Randy. We've been here at the Rose Hours on South Hill since 5 p.m. and we'll be here until 7 p.m. tonight. KREM 2 News has partnered up with the American Red Cross to help all of those families that have been affected by these devastating fires. And I'm here with one of our volunteers tonight, Chris Pitcher, who's going to tell us a little bit more about how you can help at home. So Chris, tell us a little bit, what are we here, what is this money going to, how can the viewers at home help?
So the financial support that the community is bringing out tonight and moving forward helps us to provide immediate food, shelter, clothing for all the families and community members affected.
And all the money going to Red Cross will go specifically to those who have been affected by this fire, correct?
That's right. It helps us provide immediate needs to those who are immediately affected where the need is greatest. And right now, that's all throughout Eastern Washington, with our greatest need with being the fire complexes.
Right, so once again, the money will go to all the areas in most need. So please come out to your local Rose Hour so you can donate. You can also head over to the KREM 2 studios on Spokane South Hill, or you can even go online at krem.com where you can click on the Help to Washington link. And right now, the Red Cross is only accepting monetary donations, and that's just because there's no place to store other items right now. Reporting live from the Rose Hours on South Hill, I'm Francis Wang, KREM 2 News.
Still ahead tonight at KREM 2 News, you can track the wildfires. We're going to show you the best ways to do that. And the smoke has drifted this way, and as Tom mentioned just a minute ago, it's really affecting the air quality out there.
The KREM 2 News Storm Tracker 2 forecast with Tom Sherry.
And that is a live look out over Lake Coeur d'Alene. Not quite as smoky there as we're seeing in Spokane, but still plenty of smoke as you look at the distant hills there over towards Post Falls. And you can take a look at the, looks like the wind is blowing from the south and southwest towards the north as you look at that windsock where the amphibian plane is parked or moored right now. By the way, we normally do Tom's Main Street weather on Fridays. We decided to cancel it tonight for obvious reasons as we track the devastation and the fires that are occurring with our friends and neighbors in central Washington. Smoky skies at times in your weather headlines. We'll look for windy weather now through tomorrow. We're looking for increasing winds overnight and into Saturday. Could see gusts up to 30 to 35 miles an hour, but cooler weather on the way. We're looking for an overnight low of 63 degrees. Then we'll see a daytime high Saturday of 83. So we're not tracking 90s and we're not tracking 100-degree temperatures, at least here locally, and the sun sets at 8:41. We're at 83 now in Spokane, 84 in Okanagan, 87 in Quincy, so it's cooling down out where the fires are. We've got 85 in Grangeville and 84 in Dayton. And you can see that the storm track is still moving to the north of us into British Columbia and Alberta, but the smoke is traveling in the same direction, meaning from west to the east. So that's why we're getting all that smoke here in eastern Washington. And again, those gusty winds not helping firefighters at all. What we need is a drenching rain, and we may see some rain or the possibility of thunderstorms again developing in the northern Cascade Mountains overnight and into early tomorrow morning. We need these to slip a little farther to the east, but they're getting closer. Let's continue with that future tracker. And again, still showers possible occurring in the northern Cascades up along the Canadian border through 6 o'clock tomorrow. So we will keep our fingers crossed that maybe we can get a little rain in that area where the Carlton Complex fires are burning. At least we know we're going to get cooler weather. 80 83 on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. We'll continue with temperatures in the 80s or even upper 70s next week. Randy, it looks like we've got another system moving in on Wednesday. It'll bring us lots of wind and possibility of rain or thunderstorms. I vote for rain, and let's try and knock some of these fires down.
Well, I'll tell you, this wind is a frightening prospect tonight.
Yes, it is.
Unbelievable. Keep an eye on it. Still ahead on Crumpton News, we're going to take a closer look at how the smoke from those fires really affecting the air quality out there.
You're watching KREM 2 News at 6.
Well, you can receive up to the minute information on the Carlton Complex wildfire that's left so many people homeless. KREM 2's Nicole Tenasket explains the best way to do that.
So as the fire has grown in the last 24 hours and spread, so has its social media presence. And KREM 2 News is trying to make it easy for you at home to find those updates. Reporters from all over the state are using the hashtag Carlton Complex. And you can find every tweet with the hashtag on KREM.com's homepage. Our own anchors and reporters like Haley Gunther are sending out tweets by the minute, most with pictures like this that show what the damage is. Reporters from Seattle are also in the Okanagan area. This picture was taken just a few hours ago as flames moved along the outskirts of Pateros. People are even using private water trucks to help fight back the flames, as you can see right there in that photo. Journalists are also using the Carlton Complex hashtag to show you where roads are closed all over the region. That's another thing that's changing minute by minute, and though the roads may be closed, you can still see that smoke plume from all over the area. And in the last few minutes, we've received these pictures on Twitter. These are being tweeted by a photographer from Seattle. That right there is the outskirts of Malott, where flames are starting to close in and come down that hillside. They're also expanding evacuations, and all of this information can be found on Twitter, but you don't need Twitter to see all these images. Just head to KREM.com again. All the Carlton Complex updates are feeding live onto our homepage. In the studio, Nicole Tenasket for KREM 2 News.
Still ahead tonight, people in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, of course, waking up to all those smoky skies out there because of these huge wildfires. And the air quality hasn't been this bad in 2 years.
You're watching KREM 2 News at 6.
Smoke is so thick from those fires in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. If you've been outside at all, you can sure see it and smell it. It's hard to find the sun, but otherwise would have been a pretty sunny morning. Take a look at this picture here. Allison Morgan sent it to us from downtown Spokane. On the right-hand side, of course, beautiful day before the smoke rolled in. And then on the left, you can see the overcast from it. The air quality was expected to improve today, but unfortunately, we're seeing that that's not the case. KREM 2's Francis Wang talked to people here dealing with all this smoke.
That's right, Randy. It's certainly been a huge disappointment for everybody who hoped the air quality would improve today. But despite the unhealthy air conditions, some people still had to continue on with their daily routine.
The smoky air that bothered Jessica Wade last night.
Usually sleep with my windows open, and last night it just smelled so smoky that I closed them.
Followed her on the trail this morning. She usually loves walking the dogs up here.
This is usually a walk that we both really like, and it's really pretty with a great view of the city, and you can't really see that well right now.
But today, that walk was cut short.
It's a good reason to get back inside with how hazy it is up here.
Spokane residents haven't seen air quality this terrible since September of 2012, when smoky air sparked by fires combined with high winds, harvested fields, and road construction. But even then, the air quality wasn't like this.
A very strong smell of smoke up here. The sun is bright red.
And even though the air quality has gotten worse today, I'm told by the Spokane Clean Air Agency that it should be improving by tomorrow. So hopefully you'll be able to spend your weekend outdoors. Reporting live on the South Hill, Francis Wang, KREM 2 News.
Still ahead tonight, we've got a team of reporters tracking that Carlton Complex fire. We'll have the very latest from the fire lines for you. And the president says there is proof tonight a Malaysian jetliner was shot down by a missile that came from a Russian-controlled area.
And about the only good thing that we get from all the smoke in the area is beautiful sunsets. You see the reflection there on Lake Coeur d'Alene. I'll tell you when our weather is finally going to change, meaning our air quality is going to clear up, and I'll have a look at your 10-day forecast coming up in this half hour.